سالهاست که پاکستان در محور بحث‌های جنگ افغانستان است. امروز هم در محور بحث صلح. آیا این همسایه بی‌بدیل آنچه را که برای خود خواسته برای همسایه‌اش هم خواسته است؟ سیاست‌های پاکستان برای افغانستان و منطقه چگونه شکل می‌گیرد و به چه قیمتی؟ آیا فرصت برای همزیستی مسالمت‌آمیز میان افغانستان و پاکستان به پیش آمده؟ مسئولیت‌های هر دو کشور چیست؟ مهمان امروز من در این گفتگو شاه محمود قریشی وزیر خارجه پاکستان است. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi of Pakistan, thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Let's start with the positive news. You say that the policy towards Afghanistan has changed. What has changed?
You see, what has changed is Pakistan's approach. We want Afghanistan to be peaceful and stable because we feel that a peaceful Afghanistan, a stable Afghanistan, gives us the regional connectivity that is required. If you're looking for economic security, and if you're looking for investments and promotion of bilateral trade and regional trade, this can only come with peace. Peace and stability in Afghanistan is not just Afghanistan's requirement, it's Pakistan's desire as well. You know, we benefit from it.
It was not the strategy before.
It always was.
So what has changed?
What has changed is the approach of the world. You know, people were of the view that peace could be achieved through a military solution. It has not. And we've been advocating for years that there is no military solution to the Afghan conflict. What has changed is this new approach that what is required is a negotiated political settlement that we were advocating. So this international environment has changed, and that has made the environment more conducive for peace today than ever before.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani, addressing the Pakistani parliament, once said that there was a state within a state which was not allowing the civilian government here to do its work. Has that changed?
I think Mr. Gilani, when he made that statement, it was out of perhaps political considerations. As Prime Minister, he should have known that he is the chief executive of the country. And the chief executive of the country under the Constitution controls all institutions. All institutions of the government report and function under the Constitution. And he's the chief executive of the country. I can speak for the institutions and how things are being run today. All institutions are in harmony with the government. We're on the same page. Obviously, we have consultations, we discuss, and we take an input from all state institutions, and then the institutions carry out the policy of the government.
Right. So Pakistan wants a stable, democratic, and sovereign Afghanistan.
Certainly.
And is that only possible with a state in Afghanistan to be run by the Taliban?
No.
Does it have to?
No. That's for people of Afghanistan to decide who governs them and what kind of a political dispensation Afghanistan wants. That is your decision. That is the decision of the people of Afghanistan. What we are saying is, you're all Afghans. Peace can only come to Afghanistan if you sit and reconcile. When you sit and reconcile, when you sit and talk, you will determine what kind of constitution you want, what kind of system should be in place. All we are suggesting is that an inclusive system
where all ethnic groups should be represented and
would be helpful in reconciliation and promoting the peace process.
And Pakistan wants to deal with central government in Kabul.
We want to deal with the government chosen by the people of Afghanistan.
Through elections?
Obviously, we believe in democracy and we would want a democratic order in Afghanistan. We have always said we support a sovereign, independent, democratic Afghanistan.
You invite Afghan political party leaders back to back. Isn't that challenging the central authority in Afghanistan?
Not at all. It is just to promote a better understanding. There were misperceptions and a lot of talk that Pakistan is just concentrating on a particular faction, a particular school of thought. No, we want to engage with everyone. We want to be friends with everyone. We want to be friends with Afghanistan and the people of Afghanistan. Now, the people Afghanistan have different ethnic groups. We want to engage with all of them for a better understanding.
Right. Mr. Foreign Minister, are you or Afghanistan and Pakistan working on a strategic partnership agreement? Is that happening?
Well, what we want to, what we have agreed to is a mechanism called APAPS. We realized that there are issues that are there and will always be there. We must have a structured, institutionalized mechanism in place so that whenever they arise, we can bilaterally sit, talk about them.
Is that functioning?
It is functioning, but we can use it more effectively. In my view, we have not used it as effectively as we could have.
Have you offered the Afghan security forces to be trained in Pakistan?
We'll be more than happy.
What's
Kabul's
happy. Response to that?
Sorry?
What is the response you're getting from Kabul?
Well, they never say no, but they haven't yet taken our offer seriously. We honestly feel that we can be of assistance. Your cadets coming here, your diplomats coming here, getting training in the Foreign Service Academy, in our military institutions. We can be of service. We speak the same language. Culturally,
right.
We have so many similarities. They will feel at home.
Right. Before coming to the peace process and the Taliban in particular, let's briefly discuss the war on terror. Is America defeated?
Well, the Americans have said that they have achieved their objective. And their objective was to break the back of international terrorist organizations and to protect mainland United States. They feel in these 20 years, they have succeeded in the objective that they had set forth, and it's time to go back home. And they feel that the Afghan government and the Taliban that they negotiated a peace agreement with in Doha
right.
have very openly agreed that they will be, that Afghan soil will not be used against the US or any other country.
What do you think? You think, is America leaving Afghanistan with pride and it's a proud departure?
Well, they came with an objective, and if they feel that their objective has been met, Obviously, they couldn't be here indefinitely. They had to go away.
And you're happy
Sooner or
that they're
later.
leaving Afghanistan?
Well, obviously, they can't be here forever. They had to leave. And if they are satisfied that they've achieved their objectives, then we're okay with that.
General Hamid Gul of ISI once said, quote, "The ISI, with the help of America, defeated America," unquote. How would you respond to that?
I do not understand in what context that statement was made. So, if you pick up two lines, I do not know the background, in what context that statement was made. So how can I comment on it?
America defeated and ISI helped. It's very simple.
America defeated how? By whom?
By the Taliban.
He's no longer here, with us,
Right.
So I cannot, verify what you're saying, but I think the Americans came for a purpose. They feel that they've achieved that purpose, not just one.
And you have an understanding
Both
with them?
administrations.
And you have an understanding with the US?
Can I just complete? Both administrations, the Republicans under Trump administration felt the time had come to leave, and the present administration, the Democratic Party under President Biden,
Right.
has re-endorsed that after a review,
Right.
after a careful examination. They've come to the conclusion the time to leave has come.
And you have an understanding with the US as they leave Afghanistan?
Do they need our understanding? It's their decision. It's their decision.
That you can help with them in case there are more threats coming from Afghanistan?
You see, we are willing to help. We're willing to help in pushing forward the peace process. And as you know, we have facilitated the peace process. And there is acknowledgement of that. We are willing to help in Afghanistan's reconstruction, rehabilitation. We are willing to partner with Afghanistan, with the US, on countering terrorism. Yes, we will be partners for peace.
Will you be giving them bases inside Pakistan as they leave Afghanistan?
No.
Intelligence, military?
I said no bases.
No drones? None?
No.
Mr. Foreign Minister, have you seen the secret annexes that the US and Taliban made? The two secret documents, apart from what was announced publicly in Doha?
Well, I've seen what was shared with us.
The annexes or the main document?
The main document.
Let's come back to the peace process, which I believe is very important at this stage. Where are we with the Afghan peace process? Any progress is being made?
Where are you? How can you say, where are we? It's the Afghans. The peace process has to come to its logical conclusion through an intra-Afghan negotiation. We are not sitting on the table with them. Whenever required, we have facilitated. We cannot decide for you. It's the Afghans that will sit and decide what they want. We can only...
The Afghans who are living here, the Afghans who are in Pakistan, the Taliban, I mean, the Taliban leaders.
No, unfortunately, that is being at times quoted today. I'm not saying they do not have relations here, but the bulk of the leadership, and I say this with confidence, is not living in Pakistan. In fact, is living in Afghanistan.
The Doha negotiators, the Taliban negotiators, are coming to Pakistan. They say it publicly for consultations. Mullah Baradar has come here so many times.
For facilitating the peace process.
To check on their
for
fighters in hospitals in Quetta.
They go to Doha. They have been traveling to other places. They went to Moscow. They went to other places.
We haven't seen videos of them coming to Helmand or Kabul or Kandahar.
They are in Afghanistan. You need to engage with them. We are only engaging with them to facilitate the peace process. We are trying to be helpful. We are trying to be constructive. You know, many have started recognizing that internationally, but there are some in Afghanistan who still have that mental blockade of accepting the fact that Pakistan is being genuine, is being constructive, and is sincere, because Pakistan feels that it is in Pakistan's enlightened interest that there's peace and stability in Afghanistan. Why can't people in Afghanistan understand that? Why can't people in Afghanistan, I think the people of Afghanistan understand that, generally speaking, because the people of Afghanistan, in my view, want peace.
Of course.
They've had enough.
Of course.
They've had enough of war.
The violence is very high, Mr. Foreign Minister.
They've had enough of war. They've had for decades.
There are more violence these days.
Unfortunately, it should go down. And we've always advocated.
How can it
we
go
have
down?
always advocated reduction in violence leading to a ceasefire, because we genuinely believe that you cannot have negotiations and violence go hand in hand. You know, violence has to go down, and the process of peace and negotiations has to accelerate.
When they have a presence here, they have freedom of movement, they do recruitment here, fundraising, they go to Pakistani hospitals.
Old
or these
cliches,
are lies?
you're still stuck in the past.
Are these lies? These are not correct?
These are exaggerations.
What is the truth?
The exaggerations, I said. You are still, see, the problem is, until and unless you reconcile to the fact. Now, what's happening today? Unfortunately, allow me to say this, when things are not moving in the right direction, you're looking for scapegoats. And the favorite scapegoat you have is Pakistan. When there's failure within, you blame Pakistan for that. Pakistan is not responsible for the failure within. Pakistan is not responsible for the squabbling that is going on in Afghanistan. Pakistan is not responsible if the Afghan leadership cannot sit and work out a peace deal. We are not responsible for that. We are saying we want to be helpful.
Are the Taliban ready for peace, Mr. Foreign Minister?
I think they are. They have suffered as well.
They have taken 30 districts in the past 2 months. Is that a sign of peace?
Well, how can I disturb? You see, the Afghan National Army and the Afghan security forces have to deal with that situation. The international community has spent a lot of money in equipping and training the Afghan security forces, right? And you are far exceeding in numbers, compared to the Taliban. That's the perception one has. So why don't you do your soul searching? What's going wrong?
The question is the intention of the Taliban. Do they want peace or they want war?
I think in the interactions that I've had with them.
Who you talk to? You talk to Baradar, you talk to...
The people, the political committee that you're talking to.
You talk to Sarraj?
I'm talking to exactly the people you're talking to. The people you're talking to in Doha. The people you're talking to while sitting across the table. Same people. I feel they also realize that they have suffered and they've paid a huge price. And it's their country. They're not foreigners.
Of course.
They're Afghans. Don't you think they want peace in Afghanistan? Don't you think they want stability in Afghanistan? I don't carry their brief, but it's logical. I mean, if there was a disturbance in Pakistan, every Pakistani would want peace and stability here.
Yes, but the violence is very high, and they're taking
Who's
over
responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? You think, now, again, if you try and create this impression that the violence is high because of Taliban. Let me just finish. The violence is high because of Taliban. Again, that would be an exaggeration. Why do I say that? Aren't there other elements over there who are playing the role of a spoiler?
Like who?
Daesh, like forces within Afghanistan, who gain from the war economy, who want to perpetuate their power, who are not seeing beyond their nose and just want to hang on to power.
President Ghani is in power.
Sorry?
President Ghani is in power. Are you implying that he doesn't want peace?
But I will not say that. But I think President Ghani has a very important responsibility on his shoulders that he has to show the leadership and the flexibility to achieve.
What does flexibility mean? Step down?
Well, that is for him to decide. But what I'm saying
When
is
you say
flexibility to reach a peace deal.
How?
That's for you to decide. I can't tell you what to do. But if both sides, listen, if the Taliban stick to their position, right, and the President Ashraf Ghani and his core team, stick to their position, will there be peace in Afghanistan? You tell me, will there be peace? There'll be no peace. Don't you want peace?
Of course.
You want the Afghan people want peace. Why can't the leadership of Afghanistan understand that people are sick and tired of war?
Right.
People are fatigued. People are tired. People have lost children and families.
Foreign Minister, you're right. But the question is that the Taliban is also part of the war.
Yes.
Are they showing any signs of peace and flexibility?
What I'm saying is they also want peace.
How do you know?
Because in the interactions we've had.
But actions demonstrate something else, no?
Well, you see, again, I cannot get involved in the discussions that are going on between the Afghan government and the Taliban. Obviously,
there is no discussion.
There were discussions. There's a stalemate at the moment. And I hope you can get over the stalemate, because if the stalemate continues and the withdrawal is completed, unfortunately, you will be sucked back into the 90s, which is not good for Afghanistan, which is not good for Pakistan, and which is not good for the region. Can Afghanistan afford another civil war? Can you afford another a decade of anarchy? You cannot, and you should not. I feel for the people of Afghanistan. They have suffered enough. And
thank you for that.
The second country that has suffered after you is us.
Right.
We've lost 83,000 lives on account of terrorism. Our economy has suffered.
Me, Mr. Foreign Minister, are you against a Taliban military takeover?
We've never supported or advocated a takeover of Kabul by force. No.
You're against it?
Absolutely.
Are you against a return of an Islamic emirate?
See, what I've said is, it's for you, the people of Afghanistan, to decide what you want.
Even if it's an Islamic emirate?
How can I speak for you? How can I speak for you? What we have said is...
You object to it or you don't object to it?
Can I tell you what we've said? We want to see an independent, sovereign, prosperous, democratic Afghanistan. What does that mean?
No emirate. Democracy.
What does that mean? You can do your own interpretation. I've said what we want.
Why can't you explain that? Why can't
I've explained enough for people to understand what I'm saying.
We talked about President Ghani, and you mentioned civil war. Does that concern you that Afghanistan is heading towards a civil war?
Obviously.
Are we?
I hope not. I hope not. Please, that's why I'm saying, please sit together and carve out a way forward. which is coexistence, reconciliation. Accept each other. You have to accept each other. The people in government in Afghanistan and the Taliban that they've been fighting for decades now, they're both Afghans.
Right.
You have to reconcile and you have to find a way forward. We are concerned because, God forbid, if there's civil war.
You see signs of it? Are we going to that direction?
I hope not. I hope not.
But that's hope, right? What's your...
No, it depends on you. Depends on the Afghan leadership. Depends on the ability of the Afghan leadership to carve a way forward. If you fail, if the Afghan leadership fails, then yes, then we are heading for a civil war. And God forbid, if there is one, then you suffer and we suffer as well. We fear another influx of refugees. We are already supporting close to 3 million refugees that the international community has forgotten about. But we are supporting them.
Right.
We've opened our hearts and minds for them. We've been as hospitable as we could in the given resources that we have, right? By giving them education, by giving you scholarships, by giving you medical treatments, by allowing trade. Even in COVID conditions, we opened the Torkham border 24/7, for that, to facilitate human traffic movement and your trades and goods. We've done everything possible.
It's mutual, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
See, everything. Bilateral relationships are mutual.
Right.
Both sides have to see a benefit in it. And we see benefit in good relations with Afghanistan.
Let's come back to the question of Taliban and put a step back. Who are the Taliban? Madrasa students, an insurgency, a terrorist group? How would you define them?
The Afghans who have
guns and kill people.
Well, killing has taken place from both sides, unfortunately.
Who are the Taliban? You have a definition?
The Afghans. Depends, who's looking at things how. At times people are dubbed as terrorists. At times people are seen and viewed and they proclaim to be an element fighting for an occupation, wanting freedom of their land. So depends how you look at it.
You're a foreign minister of a very important country, particularly when it comes to Afghanistan. So your views matter and your policies matter. So that's why I ask again for the last time, how would you characterize the Taliban?
Afghans.
Are they funded here?
Funded?
In Pakistan?
These are those very things that have been going on for years. You're stuck in the old groove. Get out of that groove, please. Get out of that groove. Listen, if you remain stuck in this, believe you me, you will not be able to travel far. And we want you to travel far. We want reconciliation and peace.
Are you scared of the Taliban as Pakistan?
Scared?
No?
Scared? Why should we be scared of
They
Taliban?
can't be a threat to Pakistan?
Not at all.
Their relationship with the Pakistani Taliban?
You see, the TTP has been undertaking terrorist activities using Afghan soil against Pakistan. And we are concerned about that. And we have spoken with the Afghan authorities, and we feel they need to be monitored and they need to be checked. When you say no safe havens, we say no safe havens on both sides.
Right. Let's start with this side. Quetta and Peshawar Shuras. When you hear these terms, how do you feel?
I've been hearing of these terms for now decades. Move on. Move on.
They don't exist?
Sorry?
Taliban Quetta Shura doesn't exist?
I think the Taliban Shura is sitting right there in Afghanistan. Go look for it.
Of course. They control territory.
Go look for it.
The question is whether they are in Quetta or not.
I said that earlier, that in our assessment, we've had a porous border for years. Now we are in the process of fencing that border, right? Why are we doing that? For better border management. It is important. If we have to check terrorism, then we have to manage our border. We have to regulate our border, Afghan-Pakistan border, right?
Which is an important topic.
Can I just finish? Now, we are doing what we can on our part. What we are saying is there are 3 million Afghans still living in Pakistan. They want to go home, and we want them to go home in an honorable, dignified manner, right? Once they've gone back, and then there is cross-border movement, we can be held more responsible for that. Now, if there are thousands of people coming in,
they go home, they fight, they come back, get treated.
If there are thousands of people crossing the border for trade, for treatment.
You fenced the border.
We said we are in the process of fencing the border.
More than 80-90% is completed.
Yes, we have. And there has been a check. Hasn't terrorism gone down? It has gone down. We have cleared
the killing of Afghans.
We have cleared our areas at a very big cost. We paid a huge price. We have cleansed our areas and amalgamated them into Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That's a huge development. And democracy has been introduced there. Elections have taken place there. They have been given. They have representation in the National Assembly, and they've also been given representation in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa elected assembly.
Your prime
funds
minister
are being pumped in. Development activity is going on. Life is returning to normalcy over there. The cricket matches taking place there. Bazaars are functioning over there. So we made an effort for that.
You had a military campaign to go after the Pakistani Taliban.
It was not just a military campaign. It was a military campaign plus political engagement, plus addressing their needs, plus undertaking development activity, plus incorporating them, amalgamating them into the mainstream. It was a multi-pronged approach.
Your Prime Minister, Mr. Foreign Minister, Mr. Imran Khan, said that the ISI trained the Taliban as well as Al-Qaeda. This was before he comes to office. You disagree?
See, the international world and the international community, along with the United States, trained freedom fighters when they were fighting the Soviet Union.
The Taliban did not exist.
Listen, and when the Soviets left, the Americans pulled out without a comprehensive plan, and then different people did different things.
You recognized the Taliban regime in the 90s as one of the 3 countries.
Yes, we did.
Was it the right move? Was it a good thing to do it?
As I said, we have to work with anyone who is governing the country. They were in charge of Kabul. And we had bilateral trade issues with them. We had other issues with them. So we had to engage with someone. They were in charge. So if today President Ashraf Ghani is in charge, we engage with him. We've been to Kabul.
The Taliban were shooting women in the stadium. They were banning television, and they were stopping girls from going to school.
Well, we've never advocated that. I never will advocate that. You come to Pakistan, you're in Pakistan, go around and see. There are women who are in parliament, there are women who are in civil service, there are women who are judges. So we want you to have the same. We have no objection with that. It's for you to decide. What we are saying is, we're an Islamic country like you.
Right.
Right? We dress similarly. We more or less eat the same kind of cuisine. We speak the same language.
The masala is a bit different.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah. It is a bit different. But we'll make it less spicy when you come, right? We'll make it less spicy according to your taste. But you see our life, you see our institutions functioning, you see girls going to school there.
Right.
Now, if we are doing it in our country,
And the Taliban
now listen,
are not allowing
listen. If we are doing it in our country, right, would we be advocating something else over there? No.
But the Taliban, that a lot of Afghans believe, as well as international community, that they have roots here, they have bases here, they have shuras here, are not allowing it. So my question is, where is Mullah Hibatullah? Do you know?
Ask the in charge of NDS.
Does he know?
Perhaps. Ask him.
They say he is in Pakistan.
What we know is that there are people in Afghanistan who've been attacking my country. There are outside forces, who are using their presence in Afghanistan to undermine Pakistan.
India.
Well, who are undermining Pakistan, who are carrying out subversive activities in Balochistan.
I'll come to that. That's important.
Balochistan, and they are there, and they are funding, and they're training, and they're doing everything possible. But we are not allowing that to come between us. Despite all that, we want Afghanistan to be peaceful, stable, and prosperous.
Hibatullah is not in Pakistan.
Ask your government about that.
Siraj Haqqani,
Ask your government.
Mullah Yaqub,
Carry on. Keep naming them.
Sheikh Hakim came here last month for consultations with their leaders to Pakistan. They said it publicly.
Well, he didn't contact me, so I wouldn't know.
So at least you're not their leader. Maybe they did come to you.
I'm an elected representative of Pakistan.
In the recent visits of Pakistani officials, including General Bajwa, to Kabul, there were discussions about meeting between Afghan leaders, pan-Afghan leaders, and the Taliban here. Any progress on that?
Well, we've welcomed all Afghan leaders to Pakistan. Some have come, and some will come, and we will receive them warmly and sit with them, talk to them, hear them out. But I think, engaging with the Taliban leadership, perhaps Pakistan is not the best place. There has to be, why don't you engage with them where you're already engaging with them?
In Doha?
The best place, perhaps, could be Doha.
Why not Pakistan?
Why not Pakistan? Well, because they're not in Pakistan. The bulk is not in Pakistan.
Well, it can be in Afghanistan then.
In Afghanistan, that's for your government to decide. If they are in Afghanistan, you decide where you want to meet.
Prime Minister Imran Khan called Osama bin Laden a martyr.
Well, again,
Simple statement.
Out of context. He was quoted out of context. A particular section of the media played it up.
Is he a martyr? You disagree? Osama bin Laden?
I will let that pass.
Let's come back to the Indian influence in Afghanistan. You somehow referred to it. How many Indian consulates are in Afghanistan?
Well, on paper, perhaps 4.
Unofficially?
You would know better.
You doubt it? You doubt what's on paper?
No, I'm saying we feel that at times we feel that you don't share a border with India Obviously, you have sovereign relations and you have bilateral relations, and you have every right to have sovereign and bilateral relations with India. You trade with India. They come and carry out development work there. That's fine. That's completely fine with us. But at times we feel that their presence is perhaps larger than it ought to be, because they're not, they don't share a border with you.
Does it bother you that they have?
If they use your soil against us, it bothers me.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
How?
How? By carrying out terrorist activities. We have intelligence, we have information, we have shared that, and we have a very famous person who is admitted to carrying out subversive activities, terrorist activities in Pakistan, in Balochistan.
One would also raise the issue of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Are they Pakistan-based terrorist groups?
Well, frankly, our government is very clear. We are supporting no terrorist group. We are supporting no terrorist group. Even with India, when
Maybe you don't recognize them as terrorists.
Well, don't put words into my mouth. I can speak for myself. But with India, we've wanted reconciliation. And the minute Prime Minister Imran Khan came into office, he said, you take one step towards peace, we will take two. Unfortunately, they did not reciprocate. Unfortunately, they took steps and measures that vitiated the climate. Despite that, we think that the situation in occupied Jammu and Kashmir is a political situation. It is being mishandled. India today, with the measures of 5th of August 2019, has alienated the Kashmiris further. They have not helped themselves. And today, the situation over there is very delicate and simmering.
Let's come back to our issues. Duran Line. Is that a recognized border?
Well, I think if we want to move ahead and coexist as good neighbors that we desire, then I think let's accept the international border.
Is that an issue that you have discussed it with the Afghan authorities?
Well, in my mind, whether they want to accept it or not for domestic political reasons, the border that exists, in my mind, that's the international border.
Is that even a discussion between the governments of Pakistan and the government of Afghanistan?
I think that I felt no need for that discussion because it is accepted and recognized as the international border.
So you're not even interested in talking about it, right?
I don't feel the need.
Let's come back to some of the internal issues here. Is PTM, Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, posing risk to Pakistan's stability?
Well, they have presence in the National Assembly.
They get arrested.
Well, anybody can get arrested. If you break the law, you can.
Minus the Taliban leaders.
Sorry?
Minus the Taliban leaders.
Well, I would not respond to that. I can, but I will not, because I, unlike your national security advisor, would not like to vitiate the climate between Pakistan and Afghanistan at this critical moment where we are advocating peace and reconciliation. I can say a lot more than I have said, but that's not the objective. The objective is to move on. The objective is not to remain stuck in the past. And I feel at times many in Afghanistan are stuck in the past.
Let's move on. Come back to PTM. Their leaders are getting arrested. Ali Wazir, Manzoor Prashteen, Mohsen Dawar.
Mohsen Dawar is not arrested. He was sitting with me yesterday. We were in Parliament yesterday.
was
We had a
arrested?
good chat yesterday. We were talking about, some parliamentary
He has
issues.
been arrested before, right?
I said, if you don't break the law, if I break the law, I can get arrested.
And what does it say about Pakistan, democracy, and respect for human rights and press freedom and freedom of expression?
In Pakistan?
Yes, the recent arrests and the fact that
Believe you me, you go around Pakistan, you look at the newspapers, you look at the television channels, you're here in Islamabad, sit and watch a few talk shows, and you'll see how independent our press is. The press in Pakistan is completely independent. And we as Democrats do not believe in gagging the press. Because today, you cannot, even if you want to, with the new tools available, with social media now, you can't. You cannot hide or shove things under the carpet. We recognize and accept that. So
what laws?
We would never gag the press.
So what laws have the leaders of PTM breached?
Well, if there is an attack on a post, right, then that's breach of some law.
Is radicalism, Mr. Foreign Minister, a challenge to Pakistan?
It's a challenge to the globe. Unfortunately, the level of tolerance all over has gone down. The level of intolerance has gone up. Extremism and radicalism has been on the rise everywhere, not in Pakistan, everywhere.
How do you address it here?
Look what happened. Look what happened the other day in Canada. 5 innocent Canadian Pakistanis were mowed down. Why? For what fault of theirs? And I must admire and respect Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He recognized it. He recognized it as an Islamophobic attack and terrorism.
How do you address radicalism here as a nation, as a country?
Well, I personally feel that the overwhelming majority of people in Pakistan are moderates. They're not extremists. They're law-abiding. They want peace. They want, an improvement in their standard of living. They want to, support their families and go about normal life.
And what's your vision for Pakistan's identity, the globalist stage?
Well, the vision for Pakistan was set by our founder, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. The values that he advocated, my party, the party of Prime Minister Imran Khan, believes in his vision and his values.
Which are?
Which are a Islamic, democratic, welfare state.
Let's talk about Islam and Muslims in particular. The Muslims in China, the oppressed ones. Can politics allow you to comment on that publicly?
Well, do you have to comment on everything publicly? Do you have to?
If you believe in values and...
If you believe in values, you have a different relationship with different countries, and with friends, you adopt a different approach. China is a friend, and we recognize China as a friend, and China standing by Pakistan through thick and thin.
As closing, Mr. Foreign Minister, how history should judge those who bombed the Bamiyan Buddhas?
Well, I am someone who believes in interfaith harmony. In Islam, there's room for minorities, people who sort of think differently, practice a different religion, we should respect that. In Pakistan, you can see there are temples, there are gurdwaras, and there are churches, along with mosques, functioning. Minorities over here are going about their lives as ordinary Pakistanis.
How history should judge those who bombed the Buddhas of Bamiyan?
We should respect sites, symbols of all religions.
How history should judge those who hanged and executed President Najibullah?
Anyone killing an innocent person cannot be justified. Human lives are important. Every human life is important. And that's one of the teachings of Islam and any civilized society.
Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi of Pakistan, thank you for your time.
Thank you.